Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe. My thoughts kind of like look towards what is Satan. You know I say I'm an atheist, but a lot of stuff that I hold on because of my relationship of growing up in church. You know, my father being a minister and my grandparents being in the church and things. A lot of things that I've learned started off from Christianity. We all got our start from some religion because we all come here and our families believe in a certain thing. But I look at Satan and where I sit in this particular life, where I'm more, more drawn to the aspect of the things that they say Satan is, where it kind of like, it pulls me in closer to what I could ever believe in, what Jesus is. I look towards intelligence. I don't know if it's done on purpose, but when you look at Satan, he's the first individual that had a new idea and decided to break off and decided that he was going to do something different. I'm not talking about the whole wings and horns and I guess whatever people want to consider eating babies and whatever the case is. It's just, even the name Lucifer itself means light bringer, and Luciferian, what kind of energy does that do? What kind of energy does it bring up? Those are things that us as human beings, we automatically move towards with new ideas. It takes a lot sometimes to come up and be inspired about the certain things that we have. Is it, when we consider Satan, is that like a roadblock where we just stop and say, well, knowledge is evil? Is that what, Christianity is telling me? That new thoughts are evil? Wanting to be independent, wanting to be, to move on from where you at to somewhere different, or to inspire to have ambition is evil? I question this shit, when I'm thinking, now don't get me wrong, I've come a long way from Christianity and things of that nature, but, there's a constant fight in me sometimes because I'm not, I'm like everybody else, even though I practice a little bit, this and that and the other, but I've never been to the point where I would be like, no, I want to worship Satan, things of that nature. But when I look at the attributes of what Satan is supposed to be, I wonder a lot of times are we tapping into the wrong energy, because everything sometimes that they tell us Satan is the things that we need to grow, that's why I've never really been so clear on Christianity where they said this is bad and this is good. And even in the Bible, you look at God and, God is sitting back having these things that he do that look a lot Satan-like, killing of babies and whole communities based on the fact that they have different ideas, you know, a lot of people, when they look at me and they hear I say that I'm an atheist and things, they don't realize a lot of times when I'm sitting here thinking it's because I've been thinking and actually brain is constantly running in circles looking at Christianity, and I'm analyzing it, I analyze everything down to the fact that, even in practicing, and things of that nature, some of it's still built on Christianity and certain things that I've ran away from, but as you doing or working and, you're working on yourself and you realize that you're still holding on to certain things. You know, sometimes I don't like to burn candles. Sometimes I just like to sit and meditate and absorb energy and feed into one particular thought. You know, and you know, I've learned a new term for people called love of light niggas. You know, I don't want to think of myself as a love of light nigga. I like to think of myself as, you know, trying to, you know, just trying to be a little bit compassionate towards my people, you know, understanding the plight that they've been through. And I realize there's a path to discipline that we all must take. And we all take it differently, and we all move at different speeds. But back to Satan, you know, I took one look one time. I had a homeboy, and he was a Mason, and he had a ring on it. A little Mason ring, you know, the little standard symbol. And I looked at it one time, and I looked at that upside down, I was like, you know what? That shit is a pinnacle. You know, you look at it, and you be like, you actually just look at the art form, and it's just an upside down pinnacle. You know, and you're talking about the whole light bringer thing and things, you know, and some of these people, these very people who are Masons and everything, and, you know, they say that they're Christians, and they say that this is what they believe in, you know, and one of the reasons I never became a Mason was I could never get comfortable because the people that I ran across, you know, they were friendly and they wanted you to group, but none of them really knew what the hell they was into. Not saying that I knew something about what they were doing that they didn't know, but just the fact that you couldn't really tell me what I was getting into other than the fact that I had a group that I wanted to, that I could belong to. And I'm just coming out of Christianity maybe 10 years ago, so I really don't want to be like sitting around with more people trying to fit in, regardless whether it's Islam, Christianity, Masons, or whatever the case is. I just rather do my own thing, practice and study on my own, and make my own decisions. You know, and I see some people who practice, and you know, some of them they use a lot of dark energy and pray to so many different gods and things, you know. I myself have looked at things where I really just, you know, I look at the energy that Satan brings, and I really sometimes attempted to really like go in, you know, but I've been taught for so long that this thing is evil, you know, but a lot of times it's more of a mirror of I guess, of human nature, you know. I look at our people sometimes, and, you know, sometimes, you know, people, my father used to say, you know, my father came out of Christianity, he was kind of blind on certain things, so he used to say our people were evil. Nah, our people ain't really that evil. I think our people are more like blinded. I think more of anything, if was anything that we needed, we would need enlightenment. We probably need that satanic energy, you know, that thing where instead of being so kind-hearted towards people and always wanting to believe in something, but believe in ourselves or wanted to ascend, you know, where we would want to put our throne above what these so-called people who call themselves gods and white supremacy are. You know, that we would need that satanic energy, you know, that love for ourselves, that pride, you know, and that I do embrace, you know. I could probably tell you I have more as this point has moved on where I don't have the Jesus energy that most people want to believe in and everything, where compassion and everything for everybody. You know, eventually you grow up as a human and you realize you need to have that energy that's going to help you and your people and folks that look like you, your offspring, you know, those things, you know, that pride that makes you move on and say what's more. But a lot, I guess, people growing up in Christianity, and they just refuse to see that shit. You know, I can never tell you, you know, looking back through history, you know, of just what is. This is not theory or whatever the case is, but us as black people have experienced so much hate, you know, so many things that happen to us where we've been brought up on this passive idea of accepting and always, you know, being nice to fit in to the white community, that, you know, I can't see, you know, how not embracing Satan would be a bad thing. You know, not having that, you know, that thing where we've always had this good intentions and believing that someone has good intentions for us when they really don't. You know, this the problem right there. You know, regardless of how nice white people can be and give you certain things, at the end of the day, they don't want you to ever have the whole pie. And the only way you ever going to have the whole pie and have something for yourself, collectively as black people, is have some type of satanic or Luciferian energy. That's basically it. You must have the energy where you are deceitful, manipulative, you know, prideful, you know, all of those things that we were taught that were bad. You know, that's how white people make it, because they're deceitful, they're manipulative, you know, and they're prideful. So those things that they're saying when they come to us, telling us, you know, regardless of whatever race that they come to, when they come to infiltrate, they tell us about how Jesus was patient and he was humble and he was peaceful, and, you know, I can't no longer accept that. You know, I embrace the dark pictures, I embrace the horns, I embrace the pinnacle, I embrace the dark light, I embrace all of that. You know, I think the only thing that I never did was just sit down and pray to Lucifer, because at the end of the day, I might be an atheist and everything, but I don't play with negative energy. I believe that there is something on the other side, and I'm kind of like, you know, I'm still got a little bit of that little bit of fear in me where I'm like, okay, I'm not ready to embrace that full dark entity to be just like sitting around hovering over me, not really knowing what it is. But I get it. You know, I get the energy. I get why it's there. You know, I get, you know, that whole thought of when people talk about yin and yang, negative and positive energy. You know, it's another reason why I don't believe in Christianity, because it sells on that thing that there's a good and bad. In reality, you know, there's always a balance. That balance is always there to, you know, actually get you someplace, you know. And it takes more than just compassionate and selling that whole thing of, I'm going to be like Martin Luther King or Gandhi, and I'm going to sit back and let things. It has to be something in the means where, this thing is working for you, where you have to embrace both sides of energy. You know, um, I say wholeheartedly, when I look at it, you know, you know, I embrace that dark energy, which is me. You know, regardless of what it is, I need me, my people, the ones around me. When it comes down to it, I need to be everything that's going to make me through, and that's just not peaceful. Regardless of if I'm not taking part in a violent act, and I've still got to do things. The energy that I display, even in getting to point A to point B, some of it's going to be negative in nature, because I'm going to have to use pride in order to get there, to have love for myself, and depending on the situation, I might have to be deceitful, because the people that are dealing with me, at the particular time, are not going to always tell me the truth, and sometimes I'm not going to have to be truthful myself. So, this is the game that we play in the world that we live in. And this is where we throw away all the fantasy books and all the fairy tales, and we get our move on and we move forward. We've got to act. We got to do something, because they make laws and things to bind us up, to put us in certain places, and we have to do something. So I embrace Lucifer. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.